Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me on this down payment assistance video. This is an area that many people ask about, and so I'm glad to be bringing it here today. And I'm going to be going over what down payment assistance options are like, and then how they can become available for you. It's very difficult, obviously, for people to save up for a down payment. Often, we describe it as like trying to climb a mountain because you're trying to save up and house prices just keep going up and up and up. Okay, so, but I literally have layers and layers of good points I'm going to be bringing up in this video. Yeah, so let's just get right into it. Okay, so first of all, we can forget 20% down. You do not need to put 20% down to buy a home. Okay, many people believe that that you was what is needed, but in fact, you can put quite a considerable less amount down than 20%. Okay, so people a lot of people who do know about this already, and a lot of lenders have expressed that you can actually come up with a much lower amount, and that amount is about 6.5%. Okay, so 6.5% is broken up into two different elements. Okay, so there's a 3% plus the 3.5%. Okay, and the 3.5% is because that is what most lenders are telling people who are wanting to buy a home to come in with, that they need to put down towards the loan to get into their mortgage to get into a home. Okay, so that is the most popular thing. But the other element of it is the 3%, which are for closing costs. Okay, so somehow closing costs, typically get left out, right? When it's discussed with new potential home buyers, but closing costs, okay, they cover escrow fees, they cover title fees, they cover lender fees. Okay, and then also they cover some prepaid fees too as well, like homeowners insurance, taxes, and prepaid interest. Okay, so there's a couple ways to get closing costs covered. Okay, and that is something called like seller concessions, and that is where the seller of the property may help to contribute to pay for those closing costs, and then all that kind of stuff could be written up in a real estate transaction. Okay, so and then the second way is something that I'm going to be discussing a little more in just a few minutes here. Okay, so there are several loan programs out there that allow you to put 0 or 1% or 3.5%, as I just discussed, down for a loan. Okay, so let's look a little bit more at the 0%. Okay, so one of two options that are about the 0%, okay, is something called the USDA loan. Okay, so these loans are designed for areas that are rural. Okay, so you may have heard of these or may not have heard of these loans before, but usually when most people think of rural, they're thinking just somewhere way out in the boonies. Okay, but in this case, what I would like to tell you today is that rural, actually, it may be closer than you think. It is possible that a home that you're searching for, that you may have just written off as, like I said, somewhere in the boonies, actually may not be, and it can in fact be somewhere that could be still desirable for you. Okay, so that's what a USDA loan can do. We can look up an area that you're interested in looking at and let you know if the property is in a home that is eligible for the USDA loan. They also offer significantly reduced interest rates and mortgage insurance too as well. Okay, so the second option of a 0% down is a VA loan, right? So that's a Veterans Affairs loan. Okay, and those are for people who are active military or in the reserve, or spouses of the deceased. Okay, and people who are members of the National Guard. Okay, so that is a huge significant benefit that you can get with the VA loan. So if you think you're eligible for one of those, then we can talk about that, and that's absolutely something that you can very much consider taking advantage of. Okay, beyond the 0% down options, there are a couple of other options that I'm going to now talk about, which really just dig into the meat of down payment assistance very specifically. Okay, so the first one I want to let you know here about is something called a forgivable mortgage. Okay, so a forgivable mortgage is something that we would see in the form of a second loan. Okay, so the second loan usually would be about the size of whatever the down payment is that is required. Okay, which is a lot of times 3.5%. Okay, so what's the fantastic thing about this forgivable loan is that it's also a silent loan. Okay, so a silent loan means that there's no payment that is required of it. Okay, meaning that it does not count towards your debt. Okay, so when you go qualify for a loan, one of the things that they're going to be looking at are your debt to income ratios. Okay, so this is a percentage that needs to be considered when they calculate doing a loan for you. But as part of a monthly debt, that will not be counted toward you, and that's the reason why it's called silent. Okay, and it's called a forgivable mortgage because sometimes, in some cases, depending on the specific program, okay, the mortgage will actually just go away, and you will not have to pay it back at all. Okay, so usually that's contingent on living in the property for a period of time. Okay, so like an average period of time that may be is maybe something like 5 years. Okay, so if you live in an area where equities going up considerably, and you want to refinance or sell before then you could simply just pay back the second loan itself. All right. So the other thing is grants. Okay, so a grant is just simply money that is just given to you. Okay, so these range anywhere from as low as $5,000 all the way up to say up to $30,000. Okay, so qualifying for these grants oftentimes is for first time home buyers. Okay, a first time home buyer is someone who hasn't owned a property in most cases for about 3 years, or if you haven't been on the title of a property in the last 3 years, and that's usually considered what a first-time home buyer actually is. Okay, so now, if a more great news is that these grants, whatever dollar amount that they specifically given to you, okay, you don't actually let's just say that your closing costs, which were the 3% that I had discussed, let's say that the grant is for more than the 3%. Now that extra element beyond the 3% of it can actually go towards the down payment. Okay, so great news is that these programs the forgivable mortgages and the grants can be combined with each other and make it so that you actually are coming in with zero money to get the down payment covered, and you can get the closing costs covered even between the two of them. Okay, so that sounds fantastic, right? So, what is the trick here? The trick here is finding the right lender to get you into these types of programs. So, these are very specific programs. So, not all lenders know about all the programs, and not all the lenders are doing that. So, what we've done is we have found a lender that we're working with who's knows about all these programs. Okay, and they're ready to help us and ready to help you. So that's what we're bringing here today in this video. If this sounds great, sounds fantastic, then go ahead and in the description, let us know you're interested, and then we can get in contact with you. Otherwise, I'm leaving a link in the description. Okay, what the link does is actually it will take you to a website where you can enter in a city where you're interested in looking for a home. Okay, once you enter in that city, it will ask you for your name, email address, and then what it will do is the system will automatically email you all the programs that are available in that area. Okay. At the same time, it'll notify us too that you received that email, and then from there we can get in contact with you. We could talk a little bit more about the programs, and then from there we can get the lender involved. All right. So that's what down payment assistant is in a nutshell. If this sounds like something that you're interested, please get in contact with us, and that's what we're here to do. All right. Well, so thank you for joining me on this video, and we look forward to helping you in your real estate journey.